Hello guys, this is Karan Banani from MobiScrub, and here we have the Samsung Galaxy S4. This is going to be a quick preview of what the Galaxy S4 is capable of. Let's start with the rear panel because that's really what's different from a built-in design point of view. As you can see that there is a unique diamond-shaped texture which is really just in print, and it's not really a texture that you can feel. There's a 13 megapixel camera along with an LED flash beneath it. The body of Galaxy S4 rests in a chrome bezel frame, which kind of makes it look really nice and sophisticated. On the left hand side, you've got the volume rocker, and this time with a much better tactile feedback. On the top, you've got a 3.5mm headphone jack and a tiny microphone right next to it. And at the bottom, you've got a USB 2.0 data syncing and charging port. The device is only 7.9mm thin and weighs 130 grams only. The S4 display is a 5-inch Super AMOLED HD screen with a resolution of 1080 by 1920 pixels. Now that's full HD. To fit in the same frame as that of the Galaxy S3, at least the same size, what they've done is they've reduced the size of the bezels. They've made it really narrow so that, they can accommodate more screen estate. The rear panel of the S4 is plastic yet again, along with a polycarbonate glaze, which kind of makes it slightly more durable, allows for removable battery, and reduces the overall weight of the device. So I guess plastic's not all that bad over the metallic frames. Now, since it's removable, so you can obviously change the battery. Inside you've got a micro SD card slot, 64GB expandable, and micro SIM card slot. Now the rear panel, as you can see, it's very thin, slightly flimsy, but probably strong. I mean, I don't think it'll break that easy, but nevertheless, you do get a slightly cheaper feel when you hold it in your hand. Nevertheless, it looks great otherwise. So the Galaxy S4 is running Android 4.2.2 Jelly Bean. That's the latest Android version, and obviously it is layered on top with TouchWiz, which is their nature-inspired theme, and they haven't really changed it much from the Galaxy S3 that they introduced in Galaxy S3 and the Galaxy Note 2 as well. The animations, the screen transitions, and all of those are, as you would expect. It's superb. It's just phenomenal. It's really good, and the touch response is simply amazing. The device is quite easy to use with just one hand. I'm using my left hand, which is my weaker hand, but nevertheless I can use it pretty nicely, except when I want to go up top to the notification panel. But otherwise the 5-inch display is not really much of a problem, except for a few accidental clicks that might happen. The settings toggles in the notification panel, they're pretty much the same. They've added a few new things like the air view, air gesture, smart scroll, and so on, because, well, these are new features in the phone, but more or less the design is the same. What's really changed is the settings panel. So if you go into settings, you see that all your settings are now categorized either as accounts, wherein you have all your accounts listed, or my device, wherein you can personalize the device, the sound, display, lock screen, and so on, and your connections, which are basically your radio controls. So it's all categorized under one settings panel. Let me start with Smart Scroll. Now what that really does is that when you're reading a page, you could just look up and down, and depending on your movement, it's gonna scroll automatically for you. It really works pretty well, but they say it tracks your eye, and I really think it just tracks your face using the front camera. The other new thing they've introduced is Air View with your finger, not an S Pen that was introduced in the Note 2, but just with your finger. And obviously there are more implications of this. The other thing is Air Gesture, wherein you can just hover your hand, over the screen, and the IR sensor kind of detects your hand movement and, flips images, changes, your music tracks, and so on. And again, it works pretty well. And I don't really see any real life implications of this until your hands are really dirty, or they're wet and you just want to look at images. The S4 camera is a 13 megapixel sensor with autofocus LED flash, and it takes some really good pictures in broad daylight, but in low light the camera does fall short of a little detail. Now they've replicated the Galaxy camera interface on this device. As you can see, there's a carousel through which you can select from different modes. They've really improved upon their HDR mode, which is the high dynamic range, and the panorama mode. You can obviously, apply a lot of filters right when you're taking pictures. This, and there's going to be a lot more on the camera a little later. So guys, this was a quick preview of the Samsung Galaxy S4. There is going to be a detailed review that practically talks about everything this device has to offer. My verdict is that although it looks pretty much the same as the Galaxy S3, but a faster processor, a better looking screen, a higher resolution, and a much better camera does make it a good and a worthy buy. So that's it, guys, and stay tuned.